Welcome to PlayStation. That's her playthrough. It's PlayStation. Yes. But no, really. The real playthrough is in a little RPG, the sequel to Rhapsody, a musical adventure. And as you can see here, it was never released outside of Japan. So it is a Japanese exclusive, and as such, there's no English. There's not even a translation patch by fans. There is a translation guide that I will look throughout this playthrough and try to give some context. This scrolling scroll here is basically just going over the details of the first game. How Cornet, saved the prince, defeated the witch, and it's talking about 12 years later. So this game takes place 12 years after the original. Which, if you recall, by the ending of that, they had a daughter, and that's who you're playing as in this game, Kururu. As you can tell, she's named after the puppet in the first game. But this is Little Princess, Rhapsody Musical Adventure 2. Not too sure of the full title of it here, but we'll get it before long. But yeah, because this is an RPG, it is going to be a little difficult to play and showcase because it is only in Japanese. And I don't know how reliable this translation guide is because it is on a little of the older side from 2006, I believe it was. That was when it was last updated. Here you can actually choose the difficulty, normal, easy, hard. We're going normal. And this is our prologue here, which is, I think it's just called Prologue. Yeah, it's just Prologue, Princess Kururu. Now, these are our big baddies of the game. Basically, they're like Marjorie and her gang. Just a little bit different. Basically, it's her, this witch here, it's her 999th birthday. Because the lore of this is the witches can actually have eternal youth, but from what I understand, they have to do sacrifices to attain this youth from time to time. Hence why they're so young. And they're all witches, actually, believe it or not. That's a class, anyway. Right, welcome to the castle. Now, throughout the game, you'll see familiar sights, but for the most part, everything has been updated. Like, everything looks better, everything feels better, the combat is a lot better. Overall, this game is just better than the first one. To the point where the DS remake of Rhapsody takes cues from this game and tries to make the combat of this game, or they try to take the combat, what am I trying to say here? The combat of this game became the combat of the DS version of the first game. Basically, these are two of the castle's best castle guard soldier things. This guy's name is Geo. One could say he's a Geodude. Well, not Geo. I think I'm pronouncing that right. G-I-O. And this is Sonia. S-O-N-I-A. I'm Southern. Please forgive me. Basically, you're talking about the princess and how they spoil her and how she shouldn't be spoiled. And the thing with Princess Kururu is she is a tomboy. So she's not like other princesses. Also some neat little cameos. Pretty much at the end of the game, that's the first game. And here's our main character, Kururu. Basically, she likes to sneak out, and she wants to be just like her mom and find a prince. I will be talking to NPCs throughout the playthrough. And unfortunately, this translation guide does not have a lot of the... Well, they got some in the beginning, but they don't have a lot of the NPC text translations for them. But if there's anything important the NPCs say, I will point it out. Basically, these journals go over events that you come throughout the game. And there's also a bestiary / character bios. Now, technically this is a New Game Plus sort of thing. So, in the database, you're going to see some stuff from the previous playthrough. But everything else is still the same as if you're starting a new game. And I think the only way you could actually do 100% of this game is doing a New Game Plus. Because I think that's the only way you can get one of the puppets in this game. The puppets do return. They're a little bit different this time around, though. That's a good Dr. Pepper right there, I tell you what. I just like the amount of sprite details, too. Like, they put a lot of work into this one. Not to say the first one didn't have work to it. But there was care and love put into this game. And we're actually coming across our first puppet here. Might be familiar with, the puppet that resembles this one from the first game.
クルルへ。おてんばのクルルのことだから、きっとこの宝箱を見つけると思っていました。お母さんが留守なのをいいことに、
Basically saying, since you're such a tomboy, I'm sure you'll find this treasure chest. Since your mother is away, I'm sure you will be thinking something like, I'm going to travel in the actual world to find myself a prince, right? You're so predictable, yada yada yada. Instead of telling you not to go, I just want you to take this puppet with you. I'm sure it will be useful. It will protect you on the road. Be sure to take it with you, alright? Basically, she's saying, be on the lookout for puppets from the past. They will be more than happy to help you out. So basically, her mother knows about her daughter's escapades of running away from the castle to do her own thing. Now, I don't know if the guards know that she knows, but anyway. But yeah, that's Cornette. She's grown up. So basically, yeah, this is our first puppet. When we enter combat, I'll go more into details about it, which will be coming up. because puppets are handled a little bit differently in this game compared to the last game, and I gotta say I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think that's the one aspect of this game I do not like. It doesn't become much of an issue later on in the game, but in the beginning it can be very... You'll see. Yes, you put puppets. They are no longer party members. They are basically secondary equipment. These puppets, there's not much to them. They're just tutorials, and sadly the translation guide doesn't even... They just mention them, their hair, they don't even go whatever they say. So, just for completion's sake, I'm going to just talk to them here. Now, as of the time of this recording, I have not recorded a full playthrough of this. I'm going to try to do 100% if possible. But because of the language barrier, it is possible that I might miss something. So, if I do apologize in advance. I can only go by what I see. And, not surprisingly, not a lot of playthroughs of this game pops up. Let alone full playthroughs, funny enough. And I also like Cornet. Kururu does not like toads. Oh, that's a good reflection technology there. That's a frog. Alright, so this is combat. A lot more simplified. Basically, we're not going to do the puppets just yet. That's a defense. First is attack, second option is defense. There's an auto one. This is auto right here. Where everybody will just, iterating the party will just attack. If you want to just be quick about it. And grind. Just about all the monsters in the game you can recruit. Just like in the previous game. Unlike the previous game, there is a checklist of monsters, but you don't have to necessarily recruit them to get them on the database. But I am going to try to go through all the monsters. And here we have Randy. Yes, there is some, well, you heard earlier, there's voice acting in this game, which is pretty nice. Now, Randy here, if I'm not mistaken, this is the same voice actor as Joe Higashi from the King of Fighters series, which is also Link from the early Zelda games. If I'm not mistaken. So we do have a recognizable voice. More so to Legend of Zelda veterans. But Randy is a soldier within the kingdom, sworn to protect the princess here. They're good friends. Randy's a pretty cool guy. And he's actually our first party member, too. In total, you only get, counting Kururu, there's 5 people all together for your party. With an occasional guest character popping up here and there. And like the previous game, there's musicals throughout this game. I have uploaded all the songs themselves in a separate videos. So if you want to see the songs in full without, you know, me talking over it and whatnot, yeah, there it is. What's fascinating is I don't think there's a lot of games that does musicals as not the main thing, but it's enough to display that they're doing music. It's a musical game, is what I'm trying to say. I think there's a total of 9, was it, in this game? And there are a lot more, what's the word I'm trying to say? There's a lot more effort put into it, a lot more detail put into it, a lot more broader, more ambitious, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The translation does not have the songs translated, just the Japanese text for the songs. I think there is a couple of videos on YouTube that does have the songs translated. I know one of the songs is translated in English for sure. Basically, that's telling us we have Randy in our party. So we do have Randy now. Randy is the he could do a lot of punishment, and I think he doesn't really take that much of a hit. I'm pretty sure his big thing is he's weak to magic. And we're about to get 2 more puppets right here, actually. Also familiar faces. Just about all the puppets you get in this game are from the previous game. Like, except, you know, the one we just got earlier, which is a new puppet. Puppet. I will take a pause, because I'm using the translation guide here during the playthrough, or during the recording. So there will be pauses between choices. I just want to make sure I pick the right things to say. Yes, it's these 2 girls. So basically, yeah, this is their reincarnations. They were reincarnated to humans. And now Cornet has their puppets. I think I'll go ahead and, since I got a little bit of time here. Basically, the puppets, I mentioned they are acting like the secondary equipment. You summon them as spells. They do your spells and your skills. Now, you don't have MP in this game. So, to use their abilities, they take your money, because the money is the crystals from the previous game, which, you know, is power. So, in essence, you have to spend money to use skills. In early game, that's pretty rough. It doesn't become a major problem later on, which I will start abusing. But it's just something I'm not entirely for. The 3rd game changes that, thankfully. And I do believe, yeah, and Rhapsody remake for DS doesn't carry that particular thing to the game either. They still use an MP system. Last I recall, anyway. But really, that's my only really gripe, other than, you know, oh, this wasn't released outside the States. I could say that forever, but, you know, that will still be here regardless. Also, Randy cannot equip puppets. Not everyone can. The monsters you recruit too, you can equip as well. Randy cannot equip monsters as well, so he is stuck with just the bare bones equipment, unfortunately. And his skills does take his HP. So there's that. Which is not uncommon, because the Shin Megami Tensei games did that as well. But Randy has really a bulk, like, he's a bulky dude. He takes he gets a lot of HP during his level ups. Basically, the guards are trying to get us to go back to our room, but we're not having that. Hey, this is Randy. He has a store. You're gonna really start hearing the Link and Joe Higashi voice coming through. I'm fairly certain this is the same voice actor. I'll look it up before the next part to confirm it. Now you're gonna hear some music from the previous game.
Lucky.
But yeah, that concludes the end of this part. Stay tuned for the second part of Little Princess, where we try to get out of the castle.